I mean, we have 30 bays of repair, a full CNC engine machine shop with a dyno, all the bells and whistles. I don't think there's really anything like this in the United States.
Yeah, I agree. And I was an automotive journalist, saw all sorts of shops across the country, and you guys are pretty unique in what you're doing here. Let's talk about the expansion a little bit, right? So you guys started this shop. We're, I believe, sitting in the expansion, right?
Yeah.
Of used to be a Les Schwab here in Centerville.
Yeah.
What inspired all of that? Because you guys really are a shop, and just for the listener or viewer, you guys do a lot of stuff that like not a ton of shops do. Like a lot of machine work, a lot of engine building, a lot of performance stuff like you're talking about. But what led to that expansion and wanting to expand your offerings? You guys have a dyno. That's a pretty rare thing as well. So what led to all of that?
It's great talking to a car guy that's like, dyno. Like,
Yeah.
That's so cool.
When I saw that when we were looking around the place, I was like, oh, you guys have a dyno
That's
here?
just,
Yeah.
we like tools.
That's that's one of my, every man has issues.
Yeah.
And if you know what your issues are, and you really can embrace them, perhaps if you're lucky enough, you can drive them to something that'll benefit you. And so I've always had an issue that I never could say no to a tool that could do something for me.
Right.
And so I built a very large business with a lot of good tools and equipment to do things, because at the end of the day, I want to put out the very best product in America.
Right.
And I mean, I know that sounds a little, okay, give me a break.
No, that's the American dream, right?
But it is. It is for me.
Yeah.
It is.
Like Gail Banks are like that. You guys use a
Yes,
lot of Banks products.
we-
I've met him, and he's incredible about how he thinks through all of his products.
And what is Gail? Gail, we love you, man.
Yeah.
You know, what is he? I think 83, 84 years old.
He's up there.
He's up there. And he's still doing his thing, because you can see he loves it. He's a lot more engineering on the engineering side than I am, but it's the same thing. It's a great life, man.
Yeah, it's a similar ethic.
Yeah, I remember when Les Schwab built the building here, because as I said, we grew up riding our bikes through here. So when we had to ride our bikes through the parking lot, we're like, oh my gosh, this totally ruined our route.
Yeah.
But and then I remember my dad stressing like, oh my gosh.
Let's back it up. So I'm living. We built the building next door. I expanded it, the first expansion in 2001. That was 9/11 was 2001.
Yeah.
The year I'm doing this expansion, so I doubled the size of the business in 2001. Built that building in 92, 93.
Right.
Expanded it. 9/11 happened. It just shut down America for a couple of months, and I've got a new expansion, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm living in the house behind the place.
The economy goes crazy at that time too.
Yeah. And then within not even a year, during that time, all of a sudden they're starting construction on this raw ground next to me. And then I'm like walking over, talking to the contractor, and he goes, that's a Les Schwab. I never knew what a Les Schwab was. This was their very first store in Utah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. This was their very first store in Utah.
And so it's huge. It's got this warehouse
and I look on the internet, Les Schwab tires, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got a national competitor setting up shop next to me. I go home, which is a walk, out the back door of the shop to the house, and I tell my wife, and this is something that has happened to me my whole life, and there she goes walking away out there, but. I go home to tell her about this, and I swear this is what she said to me. Well, you never know what God's doing for you. And I looked at her like, woman, you lost your mind.
Yeah.
I said, don't put God in. Did you hear what I just said?
Right.
They're a national competitor. They're going to put me out of business. And so anyway, fast forward 20 years later, I needed to expand my business. Because we just outgrown the building, so we're either going to move out of that building and go somewhere else. Didn't want to do it, and I'm trying to expand on some other land in the back that I own behind the shop. City wouldn't let me rezone it. I'm getting shut down from everywhere
for a long time.
This was like a 4-year thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just getting hammered.
That's where that persistence comes in handy, huh?
Well, I mean, it was super discouraging, and we tried to make all these shuffling
I spent so much money on engineering this, building the building this way. Please, the city, can I do this? At least give me 1 acre. I had 2 acres of raw ground behind the shop that they didn't want to rezone for commercial because it was too far off the freeway. I mean, all these reasons.
Semantics.
And I'd go home, and here's now 20 years later, because the building had been here 20 years, I go home and I'm telling my wife, she goes, call Les Schwab and see if they want to sell that building. So a couple years before, I had done that and got a hold of the corporate office in Bend, Oregon, and the guy tells me flat out, he goes, Dave, we don't sell our buildings.
Yeah.
Don't call us back.
Well, and then he said, he's like, and we definitely won't sell to a competitor.
Yeah, we're not selling to a competitor.
That's crazy.
So I'm getting no's. I mean, hundreds of no's everywhere. And there's a gal I heard, she sold her company for like $1 billion or something. She said, what is it? Rejection is God's protection. I've heard that. That's not my saying. And, I'm thinking, okay, well, it worked for me. So I'm getting rejected, expanding, doing all this. My wife comes home. She was bugging me, dude, for like months.
Yeah.
Did you call Les Schwab? I said, honey, I'm not calling Les Schwab. They don't want to sell the building. So finally, one day, I knew she was going to bug me again when I come home. And when I say bug, I mean, she was a nice bug. But I said, okay, I'm going to call him. So I call the guy up because I didn't want to go home and say I didn't do it again.
Right, yeah.
I call the guy up and he goes, and he remembered me. He goes, Dave, I told you we don't sell our buildings. He goes, but let me check. I'm sitting in Chuckarama with a bunch of people and family like 3-4 days later, and I get a call, and it's this guy. I can't remember his name. Steve or something. And he goes, hey, this is Steve from the real estate department at Les Schwab. Are you really interested in seriously buying that building? I said, yeah. He goes, I'll get back to you. A couple weeks later, we get back. We close on it in a couple months and made a deal, and here I am.
I'm sensing a theme here. Your wife seems to be like a sage in basically all of this.
She's pretty wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say I've always agreed with her, but usually the toughest things that I've struggled with have been she sees it a different way.
Right.
And ends up, working out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here I am at 65, and I don't how it would have gone different would have been maybe not so good, because I mean this situation now to buy this building, double our size, not have to move, has been
the parking lots. It was just literally like 15 foot of pavement. It couldn't have been easier.
I really think here, we have 30 bays of repair, a full CNC engine machine shop with a dyno. All the bells and whistles. I really think that this is probably, I've never, and I know a lot of people now in the industry. Yeah. I don't think there's really anything like this in the United States.
Yeah, I agree. And I was an automotive journalist, saw all sorts of shops across the country, and you guys are pretty unique in what you're doing here.
Yeah.
It really, and I have to give all credit to God, because, I don't know how this happened.
Right.
I just wanted to fix cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So I wanted to talk to you guys about, I've seen this on your social media, and we're coming up on talking about social media, but specifically I wanted to talk to you about, it seems like you guys treat your mechanics and employees here in a much different way. If you go to your social channels, like we've seen kind of like a devotional that you guys do. I thought it was particularly interesting. You guys have done a social video where you're walking around talking to your mechanics about how much they get paid, which is very transparent, not something you see in the industry a whole lot, of being like, oh, tell me what you're making and stuff. So it just seems like you guys treat your employees differently here. There's more of a mentorship aspect to it. So I just wanted to ask you guys about like what brought that around, what made that kind of your philosophy.
I'll speak and then you can go, but a lot of people, when we interview them and things, I tell them we're just a bunch of mechanics that happen to run a business, not the other way around. We're not like a bunch of business people that run a mechanic shop.
Right.
And I think that's really part of our core. We've always wanted to fix things, and my dad has taught us to fix things to the best of our ability, like we would fix our own mother's vehicle.
Right.
And so, but I remember watching my dad growing up, like he was answering the phone while probably turning a wrench and juggling a lot of things. And so I think there's been a lot of value for me personally, and with the people that we have, that it's like we value the ability that it is to be a mechanic, and we want the world to know that that's such a cool thing.
Right.
And if you do decide to make this your career path, or if it's a passion or anything like that, make it exciting. Like, it's a thrilling thing. And so we love what a mechanic is. And I'll share, if anybody comes up usually to my dad and says, you know, at a business party or like some white collar event or something, you know, some fancy thing that, you know, and they come to my dad and they're like, hey, what do you do for a living? And he's always proudly said, I'm a mechanic. Like, it's not, hey, I run a successful business, or I do this, or I've done a ton of real estate deals. Like, he's done a lot of things, but the thing that he proudly always says is, I'm a mechanic. Yeah. And I think that's our core.
I don't know that there's a harder job.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you think of a really good mechanic, he's got to be a mechanical engineer, he's got to be a fluid engineer, he's got to know electronics. You know, people say to me,
HVAC.
Yeah, people say to me all the time, you know, and I'll challenge you with this question. So you've given me questions.
Yeah.
Name one consumable product that the consumer touches. Now, I'm not talking about SpaceX or anything like that. I'm talking about a consumable product. Name one consumer product that the consumer's involved with that changes more rapidly than the automobile.
Yeah, I can't.
Nothing. People go, well, the iPhone. I'm like, look, I got an iPhone in your dash, bro. I'm fixing.
Yeah.
You got an iPhone in your dash, okay? And then I got all that other car around it. So, you know, I can
You're talking about a vehicle that has at least 30 onboard computers.
We work on some now that have 80 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where they
each
put
of
all
the
that.
modules have a processor inside of them.
Exactly.
Right. And so a mechanic today is I don't know of a career that you could be more proud of.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying there's not other careers that you want to be in, you could be proud of, but I mean, just with that, just
and
with
to have that knowledge set, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and now that's a lifetime of knowledge and building that. I mean, you know, like I said earlier, most guys get into this, changing oil, break jobs, and then, you know, the guys with real passion will continue to build from that. And the ones that do that, like that work in my shop,
Right.
Because we don't run an oil change shop here. The ones that do that they get paid that way because it's hard, it's big, hard work.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is that like you guys come from the mechanic side, being mechanics. I was one as well, and it is very hard work. But that philosophy kind of evolved out of being like, oh, I've been there, been in that position, and so like let's treat them accordingly to like what they're bringing to the table here.
Oh yeah, well, I'm nothing without them. I'm a captain of a ship that's got no crew.
Right.
I need pirates, man, that are going to row.
Right. Yeah.
You know, seriously, and I need them all row on the same cadence so that we can sail and everybody, you know, can get the cargo across the ocean, and that's a team effort in a shop like this.
Right.
I mean, I got foremans. You know, one of my foremans, Tyson's been with me for 30 years. I mean, I taught him how to change oil.
Yeah.
And another foreman's been with me over a decade, and those guys now mentor the other guys, you know, and that's how this industry, I think, will always work.
Yeah.
I think it's the way construction works and, you know, all the trades.
Right.
I
but
love
you've created
the trades,
a
man.
great environment for it here. That it feels
nice
like
of you.
they feel that ownership of, you know, seeing the mentorship that you provide and being like, well, I want to be like that. And then it kind of, you know, passes it along where, you know, I've seen shops where it's just, you know, expected to do what you need to do and then get out of there. And it's this insular, like, well, I don't want to share my knowledge set with this mechanic because like you could take work away from me and stuff. But it seems like you guys have built a culture here that's not something I see in shops very often.
Right.
That's so nice of you. But, you know, you look around at industries, you know, I don't think secrets and all this kind of like, that's why I like to share what we do on social media.
Yeah.
I got no secrets.
We've got no secret recipe
you know, it's just
or anything like that. I mean, it's really like, I think we
do your best
follow,
work and share that.
Even big YouTubers, because we're trying to do the social media thing. We learn from these icons, and they're like, just give the information out there.
Transparency.
And like, there's no secret thing that's gonna all of a sudden somebody's gonna just turn on a switch and be like, oh, I'm successful all of a sudden. Like that journey is difficult, and so we want to. And my dad talks about this a lot, but he's like, we want to help people along that journey, because if they succeed, like if our mechanics succeed, that's going to help everybody here.
Right.
Like the mechanics are our product here. And we wouldn't have a good product or a good service or a good experience if our mechanics were back there.
Yeah, I got a bunch of parts sitting on a shelf, dude. I'm not a parts store.
Right.
You know, they got to get put on cars and they got to be done right, and and people got to come back. I got to, there's one of my other sayings: the accuracy and thoroughness of your work is a representation of the quality of your craftsmanship.
Right.
Think about it. Accuracy and thoroughness represents craftsmanship, and that's what that's my whole focus is to kind of mentor that in with the people. And I love that part of my life now. I don't need to do this anymore, but I love to do it because I get to interact with great men and women that are passionate in this industry.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. It was an awesome conversation. And we'll see you guys next time on Guiding You Forward.